The NES top loader. Honestly, a better system than the NES itself. Why? It's simple, it plays better, and it's more compact. It's nice. I like the look of this one better than the other one, but we're not doing like a review on this system. We're just going to take it apart and clean it. So let's just jump right into that. No really explanation for this video like I usually have at the beginning. So my friend Teeohh gave me this, a link to his channel in the description, as always. And yeah, so let's just get right into it. You turn it over and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screw points. Now they use a weird screw. It's called, this is when Nintendo started using these. It's called a game bit screwdriver, and I had to buy this one online. It was only like, I think $5. I only got this and a smaller bit, which works for cartridges. But sometimes on like eBay you can buy it with the screwdriver handle and stuff like that. But yeah, so go ahead and take all 4 of those screws out, and I'll show you what to do after that. I've gone ahead and taken all the screws out, holding it together. So the next step's pretty simple. You just gotta lift up on it, and sometimes they're more difficult. This one is easy, and the lid comes right off in its own. This one, ooh, there's a nasty cobweb right there. I'm not sure if that will come into focus or not. There's cobwebs all up inside this. Yeah, good thing I'm doing this. This one really needs it. There's a lot of dirt and grime inside of it. So first thing we're gonna do is take the top. Actually, I don't know why I have this part facing you guys. And so there's 2 buttons right here. Well, one's more like a switch, the other one's a button. So the reset button, you do the same thing, take them out. There's 2 plastic tabs on each side. Pinch the 2 tabs together, and it's sometimes more difficult than other times, depending on the console and its age. But once you get it, it should just kind of pop out. In theory, I can't even get this one out, like I said. There we go. There's the reset button. Obviously washable, and same with the power switch, except they're on the sides now. Push that one in and it pops out on its own. So now you're left with the lid, and you could just wash it like this if you want to. You could just wash it completely like it was. But to take it down further like I'm going to do, there's 3 screws on this little cartridge thing, and they're just standard Phillips head screws rather. So you can go ahead and take those out, and then I'll show you where the lid comes in. So after you take out all your screws, you can just kind of lift this piece off. It's really easy to get off. This one's not that dirty actually. Usually this piece is the dirtiest because it's like it's open to air. I mean, it just has the flap covering it. So we'll put this out of the way and move my buttons over there with it. And then you're left with this little flap, which will basically just fall out because it has nothing holding it in now. And you're left with just the lid. And you can go ahead and take this and wash it with soap and water along with all the other pieces taken out of it. So now we're going to go ahead and go over to the motherboard, which is disgusting. But no need to fear, that's why we're doing this. So there's 5 screws along it. There's 1 right in the front, 2 on the side, and then 2 on the cartridge slot. Now the 2 on the cartridge slot are silver, that means they're different. Probably longer, knowing how video game consoles are. That's just my guess though. So yeah, I don't know why, I just completely drew a blank there. So we're going to go ahead and take out all 5 of those screws and make sure to remember the silver ones, and then I'll show you from there. Once you take all your screws out, the motherboard just lifts up really easily without really any resistance at all. And you'll see under it, it's really clean because all the dust is settled on the motherboard itself. Now, this is just a bottom piece of plastic. It's obviously washable. So set that aside, and we're left with the motherboard. Now this obviously is not washable. You can clean it with air. However, if you really want to get it down, which I'm going to do in this case because this one's filthy, you can, there's 2 pieces of RF shielding, one on the top and one on the bottom. And if you take those off, it'll get you just to the bare board itself, and you can take these metal pieces and wash them as well. And the board is obviously cleanable with air and whatever else you can think of to use on it that won't destroy it. So let's set this aside. And now I'm going to list off all the pieces that are washable in water, like I always do. Both RF shielding pieces, your cartridge flap, your 2 buttons, reset and power button, cartridge bay, whatever you want to call this, I'm not even sure what that's called, and the 2 halves of the console itself. So these are all washable parts, so I'm going to go ahead and wash them and clean everything off, and I'll be back with the reconstruction of it. Okay, at this stage in the video, you're probably ready to put your NES 2 back together, and so am I. So let's jump right in. Before I start putting it back together, I do want to note something. On here, this piece of metal and this piece of plastic right here are removable. If you turn it over, you'll see 4 screw heads right there. If you take those out, you can get the plastic and this shielding off. However, I didn't do that because I found it unnecessary because I got all those things clean anyways. So now we're going to start putting this bad boy back together. So take your bottom plate here, and you're going to find the pieces of RF shielding and put them back together onto the motherboard. This one I'm not sure how it goes, to be honest. I'll figure out how it goes. So it fits into the console itself like that, and so then this has to sit over top like so. Alright, then from there, put the other piece of RF shielding on. Make sure this little plastic tab fits through, and same with the one on the front. And you can go ahead and put all 5 of your screws back in. If you remember, there was one in the front, 2 brass ones on the side, and then the 2 silver ones go right here. So go ahead and put all those back in. My board is all screwed back together, so now I'm going to go ahead and set it aside, and I go back to the lid. Now my lid, I'm really happy with this. It came really clean. Like, there's barely any dirt on it. There were a few like scuffs that were too rough for me to get out, but overall it looks really, really great. So the first thing I'm going to do is snap in the power and reset button, because those are easier to put in when you're facing it, because you can read which way they're facing and make sure they're going in the right direction. Now let's turn it over, let's drop the flap into place, and it only fits in one direction, but the spring thing should fit into this little square box right there, and there's little tracks on the side for you to line it up, and it's gonna want to spring out naturally, obviously, because that's what its job is. So take your cartridge bay thing, drop that into place over top of it, and go ahead and put all 3 of your Phillips head screws back in. Okay, I got my, what do you call this, lid back together. It looks really good. Always test that your cartridge flat works. I feel like it should go the other way, but obviously it only fits one direction. Make sure your power switch is down. If it's up, it's not going to line up. And everything else is pretty good. So now, this big finish. Take your bottom plate, hold your power button in the off position, unless you left it in the on position, which is a bad idea, but if you did, then go for it, and just drop your lid back in place. It should fit relatively easily. This one did, at least. Not sure if they all are, if I just got lucky. Go ahead, take it over, and put your 4 weird game bit screwdrivers back in. After a strong fight with those screws, not screwdrivers, I know I called them that, I got the thing back together. So check your reset button, make sure it's nice and clicky, same with the power switch, and cartridge flap is still good. So that's pretty much it for this video. It's a nice, easy console. I like this better than the original NES, like I said, but they're both good. I love both NESs. I love retro games so much better. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you like this video, thank you for watching, everyone, and please leave a like or a subscribe, and I will definitely see you next time.